sort of means of expression from slave times, which were kind of field hollers and spirituals that evolved into the blues, evolved into jazz, they evolved into rhythm and blues and to hip hop. And there's a direct line that goes through time. And all of those, from different times, are the ways that we both determine who we are and express who we are and express what we're going through.
Being from the Bay Area, it's really all about intersectionality. And I really feel like in order to represent that type of melting pot, I like to take music from different genres in different places and kind of mix them all together. Music is really a reflection of people. If you can make music that a lot of different types of people will like, you know, those people may start to get together and form friendships and bonds and a whole new scene. And then that helps our communities get better. It helps our communities start to interact and be friends with people you might not have been friends with before. You know, the art that comes from here, a lot of it's always pushing the boundaries of what, you know, social boundaries, whether it's racism, you know, sexism, gay rights. The Bay Area has always been on the cusp of that. The wonderful thing about music is just emotion. You can make people feel certain things by just having certain sounds and certain instruments. And I feel like that's not gonna go away. As long as we can hear, we're gonna be making music.
This is my music.
This is our music.
This is the music of my people. The music that we worked for. The music that we were beaten for.
The music that we played when we were low.
The music that we played for joy. This is Black music history.
I knew I was German American and Austrian. I knew I had English and Welsh roots.
Well, I knew I was half Chinese, but I was really sort of unsure as to what the rest of the composition of my European ancestry was. My name is Taylor Michael Tan, and I'm a high school math teacher. I've traced my ancestry a little bit further on my mother's side than on my father's due to my grandfather on my dad's side being an orphan. On my mother's side, Northern European from the British Isles, and then also some of the Yugoslavian and Baltic area. But we don't really have a ton of information about who the rest of the family members were. In the past, I've done a little bit more research into my family history, but I've never really used any other official tools in order to learn more about my ancestry.
I'm Sabrina, and I am a doctoral psychology student. I'm half German. My mother is from Germany. I'm 5 or 4 generations back Austrian. So I used Ancestry.com in order to get a fuller picture of my family. Talking to my parents and extended family aided the process of using Ancestry.com. And the more basic information I inputted into Ancestry.com, the richer of a picture they could trace back.
We want to understand where our ancestors have been, what they've done, and it makes us feel connected to them, and it makes us understand ourselves and our history a little better. Ancestry.com is unique because it has a combination of researching family history in a very strong way and the DNA component. It started about 30 years ago as a family history publishing company and grew from there. Looking from the point of view of the client, when they start to build their ancestry, they're going to start with what they know. So they will definitely know when they were born and where they were born. And then they've put down their parents' information. And if they have any ancestry information about their grandparents, they can put that into the tree as well. The wonderful thing about Ancestry is that the computer will put documents, connect them to the people you have named on the tree so that you will suddenly see how it connects. We worked very hard to get records from all sorts of archives, for example, from the National Archives, where they collected records, and they have collaborated with many other organizations and ended up with 20 billion records from 80 countries. So that's the first step. And if you hit brick walls, a great next step is to test your DNA. And that can really help the process along. It takes about 6 to 8 weeks to test the DNA samples. We have so many samples in our database that it's very productive. Once somebody tests their DNA, they can compare their results to others and get very interesting information.
Definitely found some surprising information. I was very unaware that we had any Scandinavian ancestry, and that was pretty cool to find out. I know that my mom was sure that she was half Irish and half Yugoslavian, and clearly that is not the case.
It really gave me a rich understanding of and traditions of my family. My great-grandparents worked on farms, were potato farmers. That was pretty new for me. On my maternal grandparents, they owned a machine shop. So those were pretty big insights into my family roots.
I feel pretty empowered by knowing more about my ancestry. It really shows that all of us are connected. I mean, I knew that everyone was going to share a significant portion of genetics with any other human being, but it was cool to see that reflected in the data. My family isn't super close with our extended family, so knowing more about my extended family wasn't really something that I was super interested in, but given the opportunity to do so, I feel like I learned a lot and am interested in looking deeper now.
It actually just made me more curious and want to use the system even more. I care about my ancestry because I think it brings a lot of insight into where we've been, where we've come from, and it brings a lot of understanding of how I've been shaped and who I am today.
Now that I know more about my ancestry, I feel like I have a better perspective on how to talk about race and genetics with my students, with the public, and with my friends and family.
Take one marker.
I am Akil Carrillo and I'm white and Latino.
At school, when you were talking about how people might not expect you to know Spanish or they read you as something that you're not, I'm just curious, how does that make you feel?
I don't know, I kind of like proving them wrong.
I grew up in Guatemala for the first 4 years of my life until I moved to San Francisco. Being mixed race makes me feel more comfortable in many different places. Over my life, I started noticing that there are a lot of mixed people. Most people are mixed, but they are hidden, so hidden that some people don't even know they're mixed.
The theme of ancestry has sort of been the guiding force in my life, I think since I can remember. The name that arose for me was Mitlan, which means death in Nahuatl, and Xochi, which means flowers. So I like to translate it in English as the person who brings transformation to death.
My name is Lauren Crew, and I'm a photographer. I'm half black and I'm half white, and I definitely identify with that. I know some people who identify as black when they're half, or white, or either or.
I often identify as a Chicana, Indigena, biracial woman.
When I started to try and straighten my hair and cut my bangs, and I thought that was normal, but then when I would come home and my brothers and my mom and people would sort of say things like, why are you trying to be like all the girls at school? Being mixed, you get stereotyped sometimes from both sides. Certain people who are like, oh, you're mixed, you must be exotic and you must be, and you're just like, dude, I was born in LA. I guess from about 18 to about 30, 31, the body of work that I was working on was all about grief and loss after having lost my mother. And it was a very deep.
Mixed race belong to ancestry, to reconnect to the possibilities around self-determination. And because of the struggles and the challenges, I hope it makes me more empathetic and more courageous to include other people's stories beyond my own.
For me, being mixed race is really a lucky thing because I can relate to different people. Being mixed is like having two lives.
I remember as clear as day. I began to wear a mask to cover who I really am. I was too shy to show people what I really felt and decided to not be me at all.
Hey dudes, why'd the chicken cross the road to get to the other side? You okay, dude? Later, dude.
May I be excused?
Okay.
What's this? Why were you hiding it?
Oh, it's just a mask. There's nothing of it.
If that's true, then why would you hide it?
Fine. I use it to cover when I feel too nervous to talk to anyone. I know this is off topic, but you guys seem so outgoing. Is there anyone in our family who was like me?
Well, to be honest, I wasn't a lot better at being around people. To be honest, you're a lot like me.
Okay. I like to thank my parents for helping me feel stronger while I'm at home. It makes me feel better after school. Not that I hate school by all means, but I feel nervous at times to talk to people except for my close friends. I guess all I really want to say is thank you.
Mom, I'm home.
Hey, honey, how was practice?
These shoes are dead, Mom. I can't run in these.
Let's see.
Why are you looking at me like that?
There's a pair of shoes that your dad never wore that I think they might fit you. They're in the red box in the closet upstairs.